Hello everyone and welcome back to the Liberty Homestead. Today I'll be giving you a list of things that you can plant right now in December. And yes, I did just say December. After the newest USDA hardiness zone changes, I am officially in zone 8, but these can be planted in almost any zone with the help of a hoop house, which you can make with some freeze protection cloth and some PVC pipes. There are even cheap kits on Amazon, but more about that later. First on our list is garlic. Garlic can actually withstand temperatures of 30 below zero and needs to be exposed to cold in order to grow, making it the perfect thing to plant in winter. So long as you can get a hole in the ground, you can plant garlic. Mine has already started to sprout and is looking pretty good even after several freezes. It comes in soft neck and hard neck varieties, and if you live in Virginia or South, Southern Exposure Seed Exchange has a really good beginner's kit that has both. So I have successfully grown both, but hard neck is generally better suited to colder climates. Just make sure they get adequate sun, water, and a layer of mulch if you have a cold winter, and boom, they will be ready to harvest in the summer. So not only are they a good winter crop, but they're pretty set it and forget it, which is also good if you plan to hibernate over the winter. Next up is onions. This will be my first year growing onions, but like garlic, they're planted in winter. Some people start onions from seed, but I'm starting from bulbs, again from Southern Exposure Seed Exchange, a nice little beginner's variety. So I planted a few different varieties, including Egyptian walking onions, which I am very excited about. Onions are also a cold weather crop that have no problem hanging out at temperatures as low as 20 degrees. They start out establishing a root system before getting any top growth, so the plant will already be decently established before you have to worry about the leaves getting damaged by the cold. Or rogue toddlers. Yeah, you, I'm talking about you. Before I get to the rest of the veggies on our list, this video is brought to you with the help of GrowFriend. I mentioned their seed starting kit in my shopping list video, and I am currently using it for a germination experiment that is in there in the craft slash garden slash mess room behind me. And so far I am very impressed. The seed tray is nice and sturdy, sturdier than any other tray I've used, so it should last for multiple seasons. It comes with its own LED grow light with multiple settings and a timer, which is awesome. I've been using it on its highest setting, which is super bright, so the plants coming up in my experiment are looking really strong. It also comes with a heat mat and soil tester. As a gift to my viewers, you can save 15% off of your GrowFriend seed starting kit with my link down in the description. Third on our veggie list is spinach. Spinach can actually withstand temperatures down to 15 or 20 degrees, even young and tender seedlings. The ideal soil temperature for some varieties is even as low as 45 degrees, meaning spinach is also a cool weather crop. And the best part is that it doesn't need much sun. It only needs as little as 3 hours a day, which means it will do just fine with the weak winter sunlight. There are some varieties like Winter Bloomsdale that are specifically selected for their ability to overwinter. Fourth is lettuce. Red leaf varieties seem to do better in the cold and be more cold tolerant, and some of them are even named as winter varieties. Red tinged winter lettuce, for example, can survive frosts, and seedlings are hardy down to a whopping -5. Not really sure how that works, but I have double and triple checked that figure. Either way, it's a lot more frost tolerant than the warm weather plants that are overwintering behind me. Another leafy green is a little bit of an oddball, and that is Claytonia, also known as miner's lettuce or winter purslane. Its name comes from the miners who ate it to prevent scurvy during the gold rush. It is a flowering, self-seeding ground cover packed with vitamins and minerals. Everything but the root is edible, and it prefers cold, damp weather. It's often harvested in early spring, sometimes as early as February, even in colder climates. It was so popular among early settlers and explorers that they took it back to Europe and even planted it in Australia and Cuba. It's popular in the foraging circles, but also can be planted and cultivated, and like the name suggests, it's typically eaten in salads. Yes. We are playing in the leaf pile. Next up is radishes. Radishes can also survive temperatures down into the 20s, have several winter varieties, and even taste better after a frost. Now you might be noticing a trend here of mostly root vegetables except for the few leafy greens, and number 7 does follow that trend. Carrots can survive down to 20 degrees and in fact go dormant if it gets too cold rather than die. Once it gets warm enough for them, they'll begin growing again and can even be left in the ground all winter if there are any leftovers from your fall harvest. Beets are similar and can also be planted in winter. Beets are pretty similar in this regard and can also be planted in winter. Both carrots and beets might lose their tops if it gets too cold, but the roots will survive. All right, cruising along, veggies 9, 10, and 11 are all brassicas. Like I said in my fall seed video, when in doubt, brassica it out. Broccoli, cabbage, and Brussels sprouts. They are all cold weather crops, frost tolerant and maybe hardy down into the 20s, especially if they're already established. Kale is also in this category at number 12, and I actually have a 2-year-old kale plant that I planted last November that survived a stretch of record low 7-degree days. Honestly, after that, I thought it was dead and gone, but once it got a little bit warmer, it greened up again and started growing, and I harvested from it all spring, all summer, and all fall. And it is still growing even without a cold frame. And finally, our number 13 and 14 veggies are scallions and leeks. Scallions are very cold hardy and can grow in pretty much any soil so long as it's not frozen. And leeks are considered to be one of the most frost-tolerant veggies and can even germinate in cold soil. So basically, our list is broken down into things in the allium family, brassicas, and a few leafy greens. Yeah, there's a bird. I've tried 5 takes of that and she has yelled bird every time, so we're just gonna go with it. If you don't live in an area with mild winters, all of these can be started indoors and moved to a cold frame, or even started outside after you've warmed the soil a bit with a cold frame. They will protect your plants from the frost by collecting heat during the day and raising the ambient temperature within the row cover or hoop house about 6 to 8 degrees at night, which doesn't sound like much, but allows plants to survive in nights 14 degrees colder than usual. Adding an additional row cover beneath your hoops can make that 21 degrees. Now, full disclosure, I do not understand how that math works and how 8 degrees translates over to 14, but that is what all of the agricultural websites and farmers tell me, so that's what I'm going with. So whether you live in sunny Florida or freezing Massachusetts, this was a list of 14 things that you can grow right now in December. Hopefully you learned something and it helps satisfy that winter gardening itch. And as always, thanks for tuning in, and I will see you guys in the next one.